Welcome to The Fitterist Show with your host, Christopher Allen, where we explore the art of mind and body conditioning. Welcome to this episode of The Fitterist Show. And in this episode, I want to talk a little bit about gratitude and the practice of gratitude. Now, I'd read various articles and blogs about gratitude, but candidly, I was a little skeptical of the impact of this practice. But let me first distinguish between a common use of thankful or grateful, which is often used to describe like the avoidance of an inconvenience. Like, wow, I'm thankful I made that light so I don't have to wait another 8 minutes at a red light here in Los Angeles. Or I'm grateful I didn't take that job with company X that just cratered. That's really not the type of thankfulness that we're talking about here. The gratitude that we're talking about here is much more of a conscious, much more of a cultivated practice rather than something that is, quote, attained or achieved. It's a conscious reflection and an attitudinal choice on how one chooses to view the world. So I decided to make a dedicated effort to add gratitude and reflection to part of my morning ritual for a couple of weeks. And I didn't write down or journal what I was thankful for each morning. I'm not quite at that level yet, but I did consciously reflect on, 2 to 3 items for which I was grateful. And I did this while I was doing my fasted cardio on the treadmill each morning around 6 in the morning. Sometimes I would actually verbalize why I was thankful, just to articulate and hear myself saying it. And other times I just mentally reflected on each item for which I was grateful. As an example, from one morning this week, I'll share with you the 3 things I expressed gratitude for. And the first was I was grateful that I can exercise. I can elevate my heart level. I can burn some calories. I can be more fit by walking on this treadmill. Even though in the back of my mind I thought I might be being too basic in my reflections, but the more I thought about it, the more I recognized the hidden simplicity of the gratitude for some of these basic things. Anyway, the second thing for which I was grateful, as crazy as this might sound, was my gratitude for paying taxes. Yep, I told you it sounded crazy. But it meant I earned enough money in 2018 for which I had to pay taxes. And when you think about the alternative of making no money and paying no taxes, I thought I was grateful that I at least had to pay taxes. I know, it still sounds crazy, even when I say it in reflection. And the third thing on this particular morning that I was grateful for were my dogs. Aside from their nonstop love, they really do teach me to be present and live in the moment. The past is in the past, but you're here now, in this moment, in the present. What do you want to do? Of course, dogs are pretty much up for anything, anytime. And now I get it. I get the impact of gratitude. It was palpable. I literally felt better. After doing this for 2 to 3 weeks, I had a more positive attitude each morning, and it was only 7 a.m. So what are some of the benefits of gratitude? Well, in my 2 to 3 week experiment, I found that it very quickly improves your mood. When you're full of gratitude, it's very difficult. You can't be bitter. You can't be angry. You can't be flooded with negative emotions. Your heart is just happy, and your attitude is more positive. So it just improves your mood very quickly. Second thing, reduces stress. Being grateful puts life and its associated stressors, etc., in perspective. When you're grateful for being alive and able to walk on a treadmill, then that report that's due next Tuesday seems a little less daunting. Remember that there are people, and I heard this quote somewhere, that there are people in hospitals begging God to be where you are today, to have the opportunity to just be where you are right now, to be able to walk down the street. And when you put things in perspective and you become less focused on your problems, it also opens yourself up to see other people and their problems. One of the other benefits of gratitude is clarity. It really pushes your negative thoughts to the side and allows that clear focus and better thought process, clear decision making coming from a place of gratitude. The other thing I found was just happier. When I'm grateful coming from the inside, it makes somebody, I think, more likable, more positive. And when you start to outwardly express that gratitude, like telling your significant other that you appreciate it, that they cleaned up after dinner, or they cooked 3 pounds of chicken for you last night, that starts to make those around you more happy as you express that gratitude toward others. And it also reduces envy, frustration, depression. It just puts you in the right mindset. Another thing is it helps you overcome challenges and setbacks because you have more enthusiastic outlook on life. You just are more likely to tackle challenges and overcome setbacks and put things in perspective and be willing to put yourself out there, given that you're coming from a place of fullness. As I alluded to earlier, it also improves relationships. You start to become more consciously aware of what others do for you, which often manifests itself in your recognition for their efforts, which in turn enhances the relationship. Who doesn't like just receive a thank you? Another thing that gratitude does, it enhances self-esteem. When you're coming from a place of gratitude, it often reduces a lot of social comparisons. So when you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, by really allowing you to appreciate other people's accomplishments, because you're coming from a place of gratitude for what you already have, you're less concerned about the Joneses and trying to keep up with the Joneses. And as I was doing a little bit of research, there was an interesting website that came up that talks about money and gratitude, which is maybe a little bit of a head scratcher, but being grateful for what you have monetarily versus the rest of the world, you can go to a website, and I'll put it in the show notes. It's www.globalrichlist.com and type in annual salary, and you can see where you compare relative to the other 7+ billion people on the planet. And I think you might be surprised at how wealthy you really are. So I thought I'd go through a little bit of an exercise of practicing gratitude in real time by taking you through an actual morning example. This is when I was on a business trip to a northern city where there was snow and bad weather. So again, I'm going to exaggerate a little bit here with the example, but hopefully inclusive of enough detail so you kind of understand how I went through real-time practicing gratitude in a given morning. So 5:30 a.m., the alarm goes off. I roll out of bed, pull on some sweats, throw on a shirt, tie my shoes, get on the treadmill. First it's a great day because I'm above ground. And any day above ground, good thing. And I have the ability to walk and move on the treadmill, and I'm able to maximize my time and be able to watch YouTube videos while I'm working out. I'm grateful for the drive and ability to continuously learn at the same time by not taking any extra time, versus an attitude of hitting the snooze button or complaining about waking up so early. 6:30 a.m. And the hotel at which I'm staying has a complimentary breakfast. I think, man, I'm grateful not to have to cook anything or walk down the street and grab breakfast or go out to breakfast. And the hotel breakfast, it's a hot breakfast. Sweet. Versus, and I hear people in there saying this, where, man, I can't believe they don't have hash browns. And the scrambled eggs are really runny, and they're out of fresh strawberries. And it's like, starting from that place of gratitude for what is there and present, so powerful. 7:45 a.m. I'm standing on an overcrowded subway platform. I reflect on how lucky I am to be based right on a subway line. No need to drive in downtown traffic, try and find a parking spot while it's cold and snowy, versus an attitude of, man, the subway is always so crowded. I hope I make it on this train. I hate being smashed up against strangers. Or I hate, even if you're not taking the subway, I hate driving in traffic and looking for parking spots, etc. It's just a different mindset. 8:15 a.m., walking 2 to 3 blocks on the snow-covered sidewalk. I can feel the cold snow through my shoes, the biting wind against my face, but grateful that I can feel that I'm mobile, that I'm able to move around, that I have outerwear to protect me from some of the elements. Versus, man, I hate the cold, I hate the snow, I hate the wind, I hate having to walk to work. It's just a different perspective. By the time I arrive at work, though, I'm already pretty steeped in gratitude. I'm full of positivity, and I'm ready to tackle the day with my coworkers. So, a couple of other closing comments on gratitude. The first is consciously acknowledging and understanding what is an entitlement or a right and what is a gift. As an example, the love and support from a significant other is not a right, but it's an ongoing gift in a healthy relationship. So when you look at it from that perspective and you don't take things for granted, because it's very difficult to experience or express deep gratitude when you believe you're entitled to something. Gratitude is a choice on how to live and view life. It is something each of us can cultivate on a regular basis, but it takes practice, it takes consistency, just like anything else. It's so powerful in its simplicity, and it's equally powerful in its impact. Even when you take a broad picture perspective that there's never been a greater time to be alive than right now, technically, medically, culturally, financially, travel, communications, electricity, life expectancy, all of these things are at their peak or getting better by the minute. And 3 months from now, it'll still be better. It's still an incredible time to be alive. Like physically working out to build muscle or lose fat, gratitude is like a muscle for your brain. The more you practice and feel gratitude, the more the brain adapts to this mindset. You're able to enjoy all of the psychological and other benefits associated with gratitude. So, look, I'm a big believer in the daily practice of gratitude. I'm hooked. Gratitude takes what you have and makes it better. It improves your satisfaction with life and what you already have. Let your mind focus on what you have, not on what you don't have. And you might be surprised at the impact that this has on your day, week, month, and life. On the topic of gratitude, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of The Fitterist Show. If you have any thoughts or comments, ideas, feel free to shoot us an email at questions@fitterist.com or leave a comment on the website at www.fitterist.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at FitteristMindBody and on Twitter at FitteristMind. And if you enjoyed this episode, please send it to a friend or recommend it to somebody who might enjoy it. And feel free to subscribe to make sure you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks again. My name is Christopher Allen, and make it a magical day.